and we mix our economic broadcast. Dun, 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 dun.
Singapore's current account has been consistently in surpluses, largely due to the strong surpluses in the goods account, as the growth of merchandise exports sped forward of its import counterpart, only pausing for an exception in 2008. However, the country's capital account has been fluctuating since 2007, with the highest capital account deficit kept at 55.6 SGD. The trends have been consistent though, with expected fails after rise and rise after fall. However, the brief safety nets of the capital account improvements have been weakening and almost stretched to a point as the deficits grow bigger with every passing pair of years. Surprisingly, in this year of 2012, Singapore's capital and financial accounts have both incurred narrower deficits, allowing for a BOP surplus of 14 billion in the final quarter, leading our official reserves to rise to 317 billion at the end of 2012.
India, on the other hand, has its goods account causing problems for its current account, as the total merchandise trade deficits dipped to 42.9 billion during the third quarter, with the current account consequentially at $76 billion, 4% of its GDP. ICIC Securities Chief Economist A. Prasanna states that the current account deficit problem has not gone away, but things could take a turn for the better as its deficit escalating. That is not escalating, and that's good. However, all is not lost as India's overall balance of payments ended in a lower surplus of $521 million, a slight consolation as an indicator that their capital account is still doing well on accounts of sustained foreign direct investments. According to the Bank of Canada, the Indian rupee has been depreciating from 2007 to 2012, with its lowest point at 57.1436 rupees to $1. The depreciation of the exchange rate is highly likely to impact India's current account, allowing for India's chance to recoup for the extreme current account in the later years. Also, the depreciating rupee could have most probably aided the process since the deficit began in 2007. The fall in the prices of Indian goods and services across the globe could have been saved it from a total balance of payments deficit and may just be the only thing holding its BOP above the point of zero.
That's right, Afiq. Now, the Bank of Canada also shows that from 2007, Singapore's GDP became stronger as opposed to the rupee as it capped at December 7 at $1.220 to $1. As noted from earlier reports, Singapore's current account has been doing persistently well since 2007, hinting to economists worldwide that the theorized Marshall-Lerner condition of PDX plus PDM is greater than one must hold for Singapore's economy, as it buffed up currency leads the small and resource-constrained country with a large and consistent current account surplus. However, while the 2009 global economic crisis entailed others, has too left its slimy entrails on Singapore, as it caused foreign investors to pull out year after year, but again, the strength of its currency providing a saving grace as it creates investment opportunities via cheaper production costs from materials, due to it causing imports from overseas to appear cheaper to MNCs when purchased domestically. This is why Singapore has surplus.
For India, the top 5 reasons of the occurrence of the above mentioned are rupee weakening. Further weakening of the rupee is due to the lower supply of dollars and high interest rates abroad. Additionally, the dollar index is up nearly 5% in 2013 on signs of growing economic momentum, causing the rupee to weaken further. The GDP growth is the second cause. Economists predicting a lower GDP for the current fiscal year is a disastrous sign, since we just witnessed a GDP drop from 6.2% to 5% from the last fiscal year to the current fiscal year. There is also a slowdown in manufacturing, mining and agricultural sectors. Current account deficit, and a further rise in India's current account deficit as it touched a record high of 4.8% of GDP in the current fiscal year. Also, the foreign reserves is also a cause of it. The government signaling that within months, it might run out of foreign reserves. And number 5, short-term debt. $170 billion in short-term debt to pay, while in 2008, it was just $80 billion. How so?
Singapore's external position appeared to be stronger than warranted by fundamentals, suggesting the importance of further efforts to narrow the current account surplus over the medium term, the IMF said on Thursday in its annual review of economic developments and policies in the wealthy Southeast Asian city-state. A few IMF directors even felt Singapore should consider tightening monetary policies further by letting the local dollar rise at a faster pace to aid external rebalancing, the fund said. The IMF, in a separate post, also said that Singapore's finance, regulation and supervision frameworks were among the best globally, with stress tests indicating that its financial institutions will be able to cope in the event of adverse developments such as a sharp drop in property prices. Singapore, unlike many developed countries, enjoys huge current account surpluses. This is partly due to the government routinely posting budget surpluses and its success in developing the city-state wealth management industry, which has attracted large capital inflows. Singapore is also Asia's #1 exchange trading centre, as well as a key Asian base for commodities traders and fund managers. The island, which has a population of just 5.4 million people, enjoyed a current account surplus of 51.4 billion last year, which was a massive 18.6% of gross GDP product. And that concludes our economic broadcast for today.
Namaste.
Thank you to our broadcasters and of course the sponsors. Dun, dun, dun.